Welcome to the regular meeting of the Mayor and Council in Oakland. Tonight is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. And our roll call.
Mayor Schrager.
Here.
Councilman Kamala absent. Councilman Finatelli.
Here.
Councilman Saliani.
Here.
Councilman Slasinski.
Here.
Councilman Talamini.
Here.
Councilman Van Ack.
Here.
Is there a motion?
I move to excuse Councilman Kamala.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I ask you again to look at your cell phones, make sure it's on mute. Also, please refrain from texting. Texting could be misconstrued as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, and it is very annoying and discourteous. So at this time, I ask everyone to stand to salute to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law duly announced and advertised and posted in the municipal building. The meeting will adjourn at 10 p.m. unless a majority of the council members that are present vote to extend the time. And my report for this evening. The most important thing for me to say tonight is thank you to Public Events, Chopper, MAME, Russ Talamini, our council liaison, who helped them. The Easter egg hunt, which was postponed from Saturday for fear of rain, which was on Sunday. It was wonderful. We had, they counted over 300 people. The kids had a good time. They had the bouncy, the bouncy ride. They had the train. They went through 6,000 eggs.
Yeah.
They had donuts. They had drinks. They had coffee for the adults. It was just wonderful, and they gave out little bunnies and little toys. And thank you to our Public Events Committee. And also, I can't say enough for our DPW workers who were there. Here it was a Sunday. We had our firemen there with the fire trucks for the kids to look at and enjoy. We had our police there and first aid squad members. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you, Councilman Saliani, for joining me and taking a picture with the Easter Bunny. Thank you. Dates to remember, and I'm giving you dates quickly because they're far in advance, but I want you to put down the dates, and then as we get closer, you'll get all the details. Shredding, our shredding is back, and it's going to be May 14th, which is a Saturday, and it's going to be in Municipal Plaza, and our details will follow. So that's Saturday morning, May 14th. If you come late in the day and the truck is full, even though you waited online, they're not going to take your papers for shredding. So May 14th, Saturday, Municipal Plaza, shredding day. Thursday, May 19th, is the blood drive, and that's part of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. I think it's at the Senior Center. It'll be at the Senior Center. More details to follow. If you can give blood, it's very important. Sunday, May 29th. We weren't going to, believe it or not, we weren't going to have a Memorial Day parade this year. The person who always ran it wasn't well. He just couldn't do it. He couldn't get anybody to do it. And he said he wanted the public events to do it. It was too late by the time they were going to do it. So there wasn't going to be a Memorial Day parade. There was just going to be a Memorial Day ceremony at Veterans Park. Then MAME. And I don't say her last name because I can never pronounce it correctly. But everybody knows MAME, right? We all know MAME. MAME says we have to have a Memorial Day parade. And she said, if I can do it, will the town allow me to do it? We said, absolutely. Well, in the very short time, we're having a parade. And what did she get, Rich? 4 bands already? And
I think 4.
And the high school kids are coming. And she's contacted all the organizations. And it's going to be very nice. So MAME, You're incredible. Thank you for doing this. That is on a Sunday. We always do the Memorial Day Parade on Sunday afternoon. Saturday, June 4th, baseball. It's fever pitch? It's not?
Baseball and softball.
Oh, I did write down baseball and softball.
June
But
5th?
I got the date right though, right? June 4th, the annual fever pitch, and that's a go. Everything is coming back. Then, the carnival. I got the dates. June 15th through June 18th. It is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right before Father's Day. Father's Day will be Sunday, June 19th. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Councilman Van Eck will talk about the special activity that's going to happen that Saturday, an hour before it starts. Remember we talked about it?
I could talk about it now or during my report?
Why don't you talk about it during your report?
Sure.
And at the last meeting, I was approached about the green team spending and the financials, and I promised the resident that I would get the financials. We have the financials. If you want the full breakdown, you can either open it or contact me, and it'll be emailed to you or faxed to you. But the bottom line is, which is what everybody, the drum roll was, the bottom line is for 2021, $12,390.49 was spent. However, $12,390.49, none of it was tax dollar. It was either from the Public Events Trust, donations by many people and organizations, and grants. Grants were the bulk of it, which was $10,916.12. Donations, individual donations, group donations, $796. And the Public Events Trust was $678.37. There is a full breakdown, three pages. If anybody wants it, you can either open it or you can come to my office and I'll give you a copy, or you could go to Borough Hall if that's easier and get a copy. It's a full breakdown of the money that came in and the money that went out, and not one penny of that was tax dollar. But that is the number. I said I would get it for you. It's 3 pages. So either you'll come to me for my office, I'll fax or email me. I'll either email, fax it, or go to Borough Hall. They'll give you a copy. And at this time, I just want to say it's a very holy weekend coming up. For most, I think it's all religions. I don't know, but some maybe not. But I wish everybody a happy Easter. And if you observe Passover, it's called a sweet Passover. And I wish everyone a good family holiday. Enjoy it, and just enjoy it with the family. That's
Count
the
your
most
blessings.
important thing. Yes.
Count your blessings.
Thank you. So at this time, is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone wish to speak, come to the podium, the microphones, and, you don't have to raise your hand. You just walk up. We just need your name and address.
My name is Kevin Heffernan, 40 Grove Street, Oakland, New Jersey. To the Honorable Mayor and Council, ladies and gentlemen present. I'm here tonight to comment and inquire with regards to a proposed resolution before you, although it's going to be postponed. Specifically, I'm speaking to Resolution 22-122, which calls for the authorization of a grant for the application of a stream house design for a total of $61,125.
Sorry.
But before I begin, please permit me to say that Oakland is at an inflection point, clearly illustrated by our unflattering view of downtown and our perception by both our citizens as well as those who visit. It must be an arc to be a beacon of welcome and civic pride, shouting who we are as Oaklanders. The incarnation of a building upon which the rules of the Stream House Foundation is critical part of the civic pride triad that will shape the desirability of Oakland for generations to come. The Stream House was a symbol of our unique heritage. It was built in 1902 as a business office for the Page Farm 120 years ago. Efforts were made over the last few decades to save it, but failed for many reasons. but now it is gone except for the foundation, upon which a new structure is proposed to be built. The stream house intersects Oakland, county, state, and federal interests, as the Van Allen House is listed on the Federal Registry of Historic Places. I believe it is the only existing place in Berkeley County where George Washington stayed. Simply stated, its location is sacred ground, and an extreme focal point for Oakland's history and heritage. Therefore, what is built upon the ruins of the stream house in the future must reflect the incredibly rich and unique history of Oakland's past. What should that be? What might be the impediments? There appears to be neither a central repository of the facts, documents, and situational assessment. What are the facts? What are the restrictions? What is malleable versus what is etched in stone? And what would be built upon the foundation laid by Mr. Page in 1902? There seemingly is very many pieces to this story, with no definitive archive of information upon which a plan can be based. The resolution before you calls for a grant application of $61,125. Okay, but to whom will it be paid? For what reason? What would be specified as the deliverable or to the supplier? When it will be accomplished? Above all, why is this being accomplished at this time and under what aegis and authority? Oakland gets the grant, but who gets the money from the grant? Is there a proposal valued at $61,125? Well, I may be ignorant on the topic. I do not recall any public discourse or input on this proposal. We need a plan, an informed, comprehensive, and involved plan. A plan that is fact-based. A plan that incorporates the sense and sensibilities of who we are as a community, and one that directly reflects our history. Has a knowledge base been established and all questions been asked? I think not. Have all the facets of opportunity been explored? I don't think so. If we are serious, we can do better, a lot better. Our future needs to be guided by our unique architectural heritage. We should seek first to fully comprehend the task before us, in all its dimensions, and then chart the course to the waters which we seek. We should we not first know where we want to go with regard to the design before apply for a grant with an unknown deliverable to get there? And I don't know if replicating the original two-story stream house building resolution, as kind of specified in resolution 21204, is the optimum use of the site versus alternatives, costs, ADA considerations. Who decided this and when? I believe it's premature at this time to apply for a grant, to seek architectural designs. Minimally, we need citizen input and critical examination. We need fresh thinking and creative solutions regarding the optimal ways to get this done. We need information and a plan. We need to explore the roads not yet taken. We need an ad hoc committee of active, concerned citizens to address the stream house issue comprehensively and to make rationalized, supported recommendations to the mayor and council. If the mayor pleases, I will recommend participants, inclusive of a liaison, for your consideration. Our preliminary work can only be accomplished by Oaklanders, not outsiders, who should receive direction from Oaklanders, not give it. There's a time and a place for outside help, and to be sure, grants will play a huge role in the future. But now is not the time, because nothing has been decided with regard to the size, shape, and look of the building. All potential issues, roadblocks, and opportunities have not yet been discovered. The building vision, the necessary means to achieve it, have not yet come into focus in Borough. This is no small matter. And since it truly affects Oakland for all future generations, should this not be infinitely more transparent, to the public in vision, presentation, and comment. In summary, I believe Resolution 22-122 should be tabled at this time for the above cited reasons and formally request the council and mayor to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Just come right up to the podium. No? Oh. Oh.
Hi, Philomena LaForgia,
Address.
address 254 Saratoga Drive, Oakland, New Jersey. So the Ramapo Indian Hills Regional High School have moved forward a preliminary budget of 3.6, and I would like the committee, the council, to talk about that and how that affects your planning. Thank you.
Hi, Carol Ann Rose, 218 Hiawatha.
Hello.
Hello, and I just wanted to introduce myself as some of you may know, I'm running for council, town council for next year. So I just wanted to introduce myself to you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Hello.
Hello.
And thank you for all you've done
Oh, thank you.
with the shade tree and with the talk.
Thank you. Just wanted to.
Oh, you have to give your, still have to give your
sorry.
name and address,
Clark,
sorry.
6 Morton Place. Just want to look forward to hearing more about the shade tree ordinance that's been talked about. It's going back a year and a half, almost 2 years. We arrived someplace in November that I thought we were walking out of here that evening, everyone here in some level of agreement. We talked about some specifics. We talked about some compromises as they relate to the different issues we had questions on. And again, in November, 5 months ago or so, walked out of here thinking we were all in some level of agreement. Only in December of 2020 to have a draft of the ordinance come back our way from the people who expressed some level of agreement in November. December of 2021 had an ordinance that took it back and gutted it of the things we agreed on. Took it back to the point where it gutted the existing ordinance that prompted this whole discussion. In that time since, emails, phone calls, conference calls, coming here, personal meetings to get us back last meeting to where we were in November, 5 months ago. So I'm hoping tonight that the council can act and move this forward. In that 5 months, the drawings, the plans, and the applications, they're heading in. They didn't stop. Held us up for 5 months. In a short while, there aren't many large tracts of wooded property in this town, but there are a few. And the ordinance that came back in December of 2020, if you would have been okay putting your name on that, and putting your name on that, and not what's in front of us now, in a short while, some of those wooded tracts are going to look like some kind of strip mining operation out of 1980s West Virginia. And you would have been okay putting your name on that December 2021 version. And now we've got it back to where we were. And I'm hoping you'll be okay putting your name on what is in front of you now. And pulling the trigger and getting this done. It's almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. And then 5 months just to bring it back to where it was when we all walked out of here one night feeling like we had an agreement. And the last meeting I was here, walked out of here feeling like we all had an agreement. People smiling, people shaking hands, and then I'm worried that that's again not the case, just like in November. So I'm hoping to move this thing forward and get it done. And you should be proud to put your name on that. And not be proud to have your name associated with something that looks like 91 Franklin Ave, that lot that's being worked on, private lot being worked on a couple doors down from LPH. Not being proud of that, not being proud of the way a couple of these big wooded tracks are gonna look. That's what you were willing to put your name on in December 2021, and I hope you put your name on what's in front of you now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thanks.
If not, motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Just to respond to the three people, Resolution 122, having to do with the stream house will be pulled down and discussed. As far as the budget goes, as you know, the council cannot get involved with the school and the budget unless it's defeated. Then the this has happened, where the three towns then meet together and go over the budget line by line. And lastly, as far as the shade tree, it's on for introduction tonight. That's 22 Code 883, the shade tree ordinance. And with that, we have minutes from March 23rd, the regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Any additions or deletions? If not, roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
We have minutes from the executive session of March 23rd, 2022. And if there's going to be any discussion, it must be done during executive session. There a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Is there going to be any discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
We have appointments. So we have two people. You know, it's either feast or famine. They always say this. It's either a hurricane or a drought. And every meeting for so many years, we beg people to be on OCC. All of a sudden, we have two people for one position. It's amazing. And so to be fair, we're going by the person who put in the citizen forum a while back and has been working with the OCC. His name is William Sisti, and he put in before the other person put in. So Ms. Eilert, as much as we want you, the OCC is, unless someone resigns, there is just not another spot, but as soon as there's an opening, you will be the first to go in. So the name of William Sisti is being proposed for a 3-year term, and the term will end on December 31st, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes, if I may, Mayor, just want to say how much I appreciate Bill stepping up. He is behind the scenes, not tonight, but almost every night in the council meetings. He's the guy in the control room working the cameras and making sure this broadcast happens. So it's wonderful to have him step up and become commissioner.
Thank you. And
Thank you, Bill.
thank you. And Ms. Eilert, as soon as we have an opening, I will let you know if I hear of any resignation or somehow there's an opening. But thank you for wanting, and we also have one other boards and commissions, so call me, maybe you'll be interested in another position. Now we have,
The Environmental Commission is looking for someone.
oh, well, contact, that's you, or that's you?
Yes.
Contact Councilman Pignatelli or me if you're interested in environmental, or if there are others. We do have openings, so if you're interested, contact me in my office during the day. And we have somebody wants to be on the green team, and that is a mayor's appointment, and Olivia Yeses would like to become a member of the green team, and we have a lot of openings, so we'll just
Yeah.
put it in. Thank you, and contact Lisa for information on what you have to do now. We have a social permit for Father's Club. It is for the family barbecue at Oakland Elks, June 4th, same day. Nice week, but it's in the, I think it's a different time, at the Elks. And is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? There a second for the permit for the
Second.
bar?
Second.
Roll call, because I think someone wants to abstain.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Abstain.
Councilman Solsinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Act.
Yes.
Thank you, Fathers Club. And we have a raffle license request for the Ramapo Bergen Animal Refuge RL 1422 for a raffle on March 17, 2023 at 3 o'clock at their building located at 2 Shelter Lane. And they will be giving away a $3,000 gift card, $300 in merchandise, and $200 in merchandise. Proceeds used for maintenance of the animal shelter, vet fees, office expenses, food, and shelter of animals. There are motions to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Solsinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Act.
Yes.
Okay, there are 3 resolutions, other than the 3 that I'm going to ask to pull out, to be discussed separately. The rest will be in a consent agenda. The first resolution I'm asking to be pulled out is 22-117, is to authorize the OCC sponsorship program. That's one. The second one will be 22-118, which is called opposing resolution A 1294 from the state legislature. And I want that to be discussed. And 122 is authorizing the grant application to the Preserve North New Jersey Historic Preservation Fund Historic Site Management Grant Program for the Stream House Rehabilitation Design. So other than those,
126.
you want, 126 is the resolution authorizing certain property owned by the borough. That'll be pulled out. And then we'll do it in chronological order. Any others before we begin? Okay, so we'll start with 119. 22-119 is to authorize the refunds of the water account at 12 Timberline Lane and is for $2,260.52. 22-120 is to refund escrow fees, and that is to the Corduba Ciani Construction, and it's a refund of $336.25 located at 11 Mountain Lakes Road in Oakland. 22-121 is to cancel grant balances, and it's the Sage Grant DWI Patrols, $5,218.40. Sage Grant DWI Patrols, $5,218.40. BMed Wellness Receivable, $5,296.96. BMed Employee Wellness Program, $5,219.96. 22-123, authorized property maintenance lien at 17 Manitou. 17 Manitou is identified as Block 5203, Lot 33 on the tax assessment map, and they were in violation of the borough's property maintenance code. And there was work performed by our DPW dated March 7, 2022. Work performed and expenses incurred for the amount of $1,100.76 being as a lien on the property. Then we have an authorized lien at 22-124. It is 55 Seminole Avenue, known as Block 4806, Lot 32, on the tax assessment map. There was a report dated March 15th detailing the work performed and expenses incurred. And for the work and due and pursuant to the report, the sum of $5,264 is, are you okay?
Yes.
I already did that. Is a lien on the property. 22-125 is to authorize a refund of permit fees at 5 Iron Horse. Hackensack Roofing, 83 First Street in Hackensack. Amount due is $1,405. And 22-126 is pulled out. 22-127 is authorized refund of recreation fees. The first one is to the Silva family, 73 Lakeshore Drive, $78 for baseball. Van Voorhees family, 1 Woodcrest, the amount of $118 for rec softball. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Pincatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slifzinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ness.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go back. We'll do this in chronological order. And we'll start with 117. And I asked to pull it out because I thought we should discuss it. This is to authorize the OCC sponsorship program. And this is a resolution which saying that if anyone's interested, they can sponsor on the Borough of Oakland television station, and in return, the sponsor's name and/or logo would be broadcast for a period of 15 to 30 seconds during certain eligible programming. And the reason why I pulled it out is because it's a very just a blanket resolution, and I had discussed this with our administrator. I said, there's no numbers, there's no time frame, and he said that will be followed by the ordinance. So I just wanted to know, well, is there a motion first? I guess we need a motion first before we discuss it. So can I have a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All right, now discussion. Now discussion.
So with these advertising, is there a criteria to be accepted as an advertiser?
So there's 3 criteria. There is individuals and families, there's nonprofits, and then there's businesses. So there's 3 tiers for that reason, because we figure individual and families may want to sponsor something, and the amount of time of advertising you would receive is different for each 2. But it's a good amount of time, 15, 30 seconds, so it's a good filler in the beginning of a programming. And depending on what your sponsorship is if it would run for the year or if it could run any time that program goes on, so it's permanently part of the program. And so for instance, like what's interesting right now, spoiler alert I'll take this off my report, but we just created from all the DVDs of our special programs for over the years, we've created a digitized archive, and we'll be running those programs now on Oakland TV. It's pretty cool stuff from the 90s, people who, I'll look at myself in 20 years and be like, wow.
Not the council meetings, because they weren't televised back then.
Right, but a lot of programs on Oakland TV were. So for instance, if we had a sponsorship program then, your sponsorship would be still tied to that program, which is really cool, that you'll forever be linked to that programming. This is something I've been talking about doing since I came on the council, because I believe that we need to generate revenue for our various committees to fund the functions of these committees. And the TV committee is quite expensive. That control room isn't a cheap thing to operate. It's something we have as part of our civic pride of Oakland, to have a great TV, great control room. We're putting the cameras in the senior center now. So there'll be even more opportunities. So once that senior center camera comes in, programs over there, things that are happening with the seniors, whatever it may be, we can have that recorded, and that's another opportunity to sponsor, which I think is a phenomenal opportunity for individuals, families. So say down the road we're able to work it out with recreation, which I know has been in the works, that a game or a championship could be broadcast. Or maybe there's a family who wants to sponsor that, or a business who wants to sponsor that. Maybe they're already sponsoring a team and they'd sponsor a recording of the team and playing something once a year. So that's, I just think, a great opportunity to bring in non-tax revenue to help fund the function of our communication commission, our TV committee, which is quite expensive. Those cameras need to be replaced, they need to be maintained. The control switches, the boxes, the audio switches, all the feeds, the wiring, the storage of our entire hard drive. I mean, this is all expensive stuff, and it's not getting any cheaper, as we all know, with anything. So why this is so important to me is it is non-tax revenue to help support an amazing asset of our community, our TV studio, and all that we have here, broadcasting these meetings, for instance, all of that. And a great opportunity for families, local nonprofits, and businesses to, again, it's a non-deductible, so you can't write it off like you can with maybe other things you give to the town, because we are, have the nonprofit status. But this, because it's marketing, would just be something to help boost their business, boost their name ID, congratulate somebody they care about who may be in that programming. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity, and that's what this is all about. And I'm so glad we're so close to passing it.
So is this the final application?
That's
form?
it.
So before I want everybody to vote, I want to make sure that you all read the full application, and I'm counting on you to be honest. And this resolution says the television sponsorship program, as proposed by the Oakland Communications Commission, is hereby authorized. So the ordinance, and this is what I asked our administrator, the ordinance will set forth the fees and all the details, is that correct, Mr.
It'll set
Attorney?
forth the fees. Yes, those need to be.
Do we have any-
The ordinance will do that.
Can I see the application, Mayor?
Oh, everybody got it.
Refresh my memory. Oh, yeah, right.
And I want to thank Jim Barry for his work, and Ryan, of course, with everything that happens in the OCC. It's again, when volunteers, professionals who are experts at these things, who do this for their career, and come together and put their heads together and collaborate on something, what happens is really beautiful.
In the ordinance.
One of my favorite quotes from General Patton was, never tell someone how to do something, tell them what you want done, and allow them to surprise you with their ingenuity. And this is just another, oh, I'm getting chills, another great example of volunteers coming together, making it happen for our town.
Do you need a copy?
No.
Okay. Everybody have read the copy?
Yes.
So that's what this ordinance, it's not an ordinance yet. This is the resolution which is authorizing the sponsorship program, but then we will vote on an ordinance which will
Correct.
show regulation.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to make a motion? Oh, we did
We
that
did
already.
it, and we got a
We did
second.
it. So now we have to vote.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van App.
Yes.
I just thought it was important to pull that out. Okay, the next one is 22-118. And I had that pulled out because I think it's important that everybody knows what's going on in the legislature. The state legislature passed this, it's a bill, which would authorize the conversion of certain office parks and retail centers to mixed-use developments regardless of municipal zoning regulations. Under the legislation, a mixed-use component, that is those containing both non-residential and a residential component, would be permitted use, not requiring a variance when the application seeks to convert an office park or retail center. And we're opposing this because we feel, well, if it's passed, that Bill A1294 would undermine the careful planning and consideration that has gone into municipal zoning. And what this would do is take away all the powers of zoning in Oakland, in any municipality. So is there a motion?
Motion, so, second.
Discussion on this?
I'm going to echo everything you said. I've been following this all the way through. We've been emailing about it with the mayor, with Rich, with others. This is just another power grab by Trenton. We all know what COA has done with forcing this on communities. We are a land use governing body. That is what we do. That's what Oakland is supposed to do. And Trenton is trying to come in here and take that away from us. It's despicable.
So
but it's
we-
not surprising. So hopefully this passes.
Well, we're sending this to our legislators. We have to
Correct.
send it both to our local, our assembly and senate.
So
Okay,
brave.
so vote. Is there, we already did the motion, second and vote.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van App.
Yes.
Then I pulled out 122, which states, authorize grant application to the Preserve New Jersey Historic Preservation Fund Historic Site Management Grant Program for the Stream House Rehabilitation Design. It's for $61,125. The grant is due tomorrow, so it's timely. And no disrespect to you, Kevin, because you work so hard on this stuff. But this has been discussed for years. For years. I remember going to meetings with Margaret Hickey, seeing all kinds of diagrams, displays, getting information from SHPO, which is the State Historic Preservation, which we needed to be able to I'm not allowed to say knock it down.
Dismantle.
Dismantle the stream house. I had to use the proper wording even. And I always was under the impression they wanted us to build a replica, an exact model of what was there, and they said no, they would never allow us to dismantle to do that. What they did was They want us to do the same historic architecture. Not an exact copy, but using the same architecture. 75% of the funding for detailed design is we're asking for with this grant. We have shown, this entire council has seen the diagrams. The dream is to make this into a children's community center, almost like a museum. I don't know if many of you know the history of Oakland, but during the Revolutionary War, when the courthouse was burned down, there was a fire, Oakland became the county seat for a very short time. And that is why where the Knights of Columbus is, it's on Courthouse Place. That was where the courthouse was. This was the county seat of Bergen County. And we used to have the second graders go to the Van Allen house. We haven't been able to do that. This would be a compilation of memorabilia of the history of Bergen County and of Oakland. It is I wish I had the diagrams. I don't have the diagrams with me, but oh, you have it on the, I don't know if you could show it on the screen. But we've gone through this. The council has discussed this, and when we first showed these diagrams, we asked for interest from the public. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful because it's going to be encouraging children to come there and learn about our history. We have waited so long. I remember the day that it was going to be dismantled. And Frank Monaco, we all remember Frank Monaco was still alive, and there were like tears in his eyes, standing there. It is just a very, it's very emotional for me because I have waited so long to get this building gone and to build something that our children will love and appreciate and our residents will be proud of. And I wanted that to stand out. So I need a motion, a second, and then a discussion.
Motion.
There's a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. Do you want to apply for the grant for the designs that you have been reviewing for months?
What happens if the grant comes in and then we change our mind now that there's a committee and potentially an ad hoc committee with the Bush Plaza Station Park, where a group of volunteers would get involved and work on this, which we haven't had input from residents and volunteers yet.
We tried to. We've done this for months. And I have to say that the designs, I mean, you can pass around the designs.
Yeah, I looked at them.
The designs,
I've worked with Connolly and Hickey before as well. The Ford Face House in Rockaway Township is a good example. It's in our plans. I've visited that many times.
I don't know how else I can show
My
it.
parents live in Rockaway Township, so I've been there
Did I say, Mayor?
as a,
Yes.
so again, I've seen it, but my concern is,
We
I don't
had to
know.
get approval from SHPO. You don't know what years it took us to get approval to
So I know-
dismantle.
Former Councilman Bialy was the liaison to the Historical
Yeah.
Society. I was never involved in any of those conversations. I think, Steve, you have Historical Society?
We haven't had a meeting, we're trying to get one, based when this was raised. to me.
So again, my concern is we have a Historical Society, but they don't even seem to be involved in any of this.
Because we have tried. You know, I had a meeting with the Historical Society. I said, you don't advertise, you don't solicit. All you do is complain if you do, what is it, they have these little showings at the Van Allen House. They have never shown any kind of input into this.
I think because what they're doing is within their capacity, which is just sort of preserving history that's there. Whereas we're looking, I think, what we're looking to do here is, I think, well-intentioned.
Everybody's seen this?
Let's, let the borough administrator
If I can. So for those of you that were here last year, we did seek to form a committee that had public involvement. Okay, we put out calls at more than one meeting. The mayor and Councilman Bialy asked for volunteers to participate in this committee. We had a first meeting. There was a member from the Historic Preservation Commission there. At that meeting, from what I recall, we talked about really what the potential uses of the site were, what the vision of the site was, and that would help inform the concept plan and layout of the building. In terms of the building itself, a couple of restrictions here. One, you're going to be limited to the footprint of the existing foundation. Okay, so that was kind of a driving element in terms of the overall concept design. Number two is that the feedback from the state is that they want to see something that was in that same architectural style of the stream house. Not an exact replica, but that's something that they would look favorably upon in terms of providing funding. They don't want to see something that is from a different period, a different architectural style. That's likely not going to pass muster. Okay? So we met several times with the architect to refine that. There was an initial concept plan that was sent back for revisions to try and maximize the space for the first floor, especially for exhibits and lectures and the like. Okay, so this was something that ultimately I think is going to put us in a good position to get the funding that's required from other entities to build something there on that site that we're all very proud of at the end of the day. And all of this essentially goes back to 2011 when the Borough Council adopted the preservation plan for that site. A lot of it emanates from that, takes the concepts that were agreed upon then, and is finally now moving the stuff forward to, hopefully fruition in the next several years.
We're really caught between a rock and a hard place because if I'd like to say if the Historic Committee has no interest in this, I don't know why we're doing it. However, I realize that we had to get permission and we said we would rebuild a replica there. But if we don't do it, it might jeopardize other grants for the Van Allen House, which would be a shame. The Van Allen House is truly a historic place to be preserved. I never saw the Extreme House as being historic to be preserved.
It was because one of the council, many years ago, a councilwoman who was in charge of the historic, somehow commingled the properties
Correct.
Together.
Correct.
So it's considered historic.
Correct.
We could not have done anything with the building without the state. And how many times did I ask, what would happen if we just go ahead and knock it down? And what was I told?
Can't do that.
Right.
But I've
Right.
seen,
We would
I've
be
seen,
fined,
the
we would have
permission
been
to knock it
penalized,
down?
we would have been fined, and then we would have, whenever we applied for the grants.
but I see places being torn down that are historic in other towns. How do they get permission to tear it down?
You sound like the kids who say, well, he could do it, why can't I do it?
Well, let's bring this back.
Well,
So-
if,
Go ahead. Thank you,
if I can, Steve, maybe to answer Councilman Pignatelli's. This is a borough asset that is on the list
Correct.
of historic
I know,
sites.
right.
This is not a private asset. If it was a private asset, there are ways that they could be demolished, utilized, if they are not.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If they are not appropriately restricted.
I see what you're saying.
So once it's a public asset, it becomes difficult to do.
Okay. Because these other ones probably were private
In
assets.
this
right.
instance, for as long as I've been here, for some reason, both those properties or structures were combined, and they were deemed historic, and they are on the historic list.
Right. That's the big difference, public versus private ownership.
And
right.
we needed SHPO to give us this permission.
Correct,
And the
yeah.
only way we could do it was we had to submit these plans,
I remember.
and they had to approve it.
I remember.
So
yeah.
can we just talk money a little bit? So the grant is for how much?
The grant is for 75% of the anticipated design cost based on a proposal submitted for the purpose of putting a cost to it for the grant by Connolly and Hickey, okay, for the design, detailed design work of the building and preparing bid
And
specifications.
so what's that number?
It is
It's on
a
this.
little over $81,000 total, so we're responsible for 25% of it.
About 20 grand.
Right.
Okay, and bear in mind, when we took down the building, right, it was with the approval subject to replacing the building, or I should say, making a good faith effort to replace the building. Part of that good faith effort is doing these sorts of things, where we're applying for funding, right? If after 3, 4, 5 years, those state and county funding agencies decline to provide us money, there's nothing there that says that we need to proceed, but we need to make that effort at a minimum.
Also, because of the stream, we had to do we had
Oh,
certain
yeah.
restrictions.
Yes.
Because of the stream. So, any other discussion?
Well, I heard a point that was new, so I want to make sure everyone heard it. What I heard was if we don't go forward, it could jeopardize future grants. Is that correct understanding?
Yes.
But if we do go forward with this, there's a chance we don't get the grant, correct?
Sure.
I think so.
All this does is
It's a
allow us to
competitive
apply
grant.
for the grants.
And
But if we do get the grant, the town will have to shell out tens of thousands of dollars to cover a percentage.
And if we
We
don't
would
do
be
it,
approximately 20,000 is my estimate.
right, and if we
Which
don't
I feel
do
like is a
it,
little bit of my argument I made. I'm still stuck on this, but that LED sign, and not that I was against an LED sign, I was against that location. And I was also against the fact that we were spending tens of thousands of dollars just because we got some
all right,
money
we're
to
not
put it
talking about
up.
the sign right now.
Let's
Let's go
go
back to the
backwards.
stream house. Right now, if we don't build something,
Right.
we will be in jeopardy of grants. We could be fined, right? They said they would fine us. We were told, Richard?
Maybe. I don't know if
Maybe.
we ever got,
Right, they
Real
implied, it was an
clarification on that.
implication.
Is this the only grant we're available to apply for this year?
yes, this is the only grant that's out there right now for design, which is the
Which
next
is-
step.
I would suggest that $20,000, there's some kind of fundraising event held by the Historic Committee.
Thank you.
To try and get the extra $20,000.
Well,
Even if
Steve
they get half of it.
Saliani is our historic liaison.
Well,
Maybe you will have better luck with the Historic Society, who I think a member is in the back room tonight.
Well, this was my next question. If we're getting this grant, can I put a committee together to help when we get money and work with what we have, right? So we keep saying people weren't involved. Let's do it again. Put it out there, we'll get people involved, right? We'll help raise money, but also we have parameters we have to build. But let's get input on the parameters we can build upon so people have input into the house. I think
That's why I feel like we should do that first, and I'm confident Councilman Saliani is the guy to get it done. I really am.
Except
But my
the
concern is we apply for
tomorrow.
this, we get it, now we're on the hook for 20,000.
Yeah, but my point is this. I said if we went forward, right? But we still have a committee as the money comes in, make sure it gets used appropriately. I think, I don't know if I can address the public or not, but one of Mr. Heffernan's points was that he felt there was no visibility and no, what was going on. I think there's nothing wrong if we get people on board to
Of
give that
course,
visibility.
we've been trying to get the Historic Society involved. So maybe you will have better luck.
So that's, again, I'm not gonna be able to support this.
Okay, so I'll call for a voice. Any other
If I-
discussion?
If I can, Mayor, just on Steve's point, you're probably 6 months to a year away from both getting a decision on the grant and engaging in that design process. That's plenty of time to put a committee together and try to seek outside fundraising to cover that 25%.
But the application is due tomorrow.
Applications due tomorrow.
Yeah, application for the grants due.
All right, so is there, ready for a vote? All right, vote.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
No.
Okay, so apply for the grant, and Councilman Saliani will start working on this historic, and contact the Historic Society, who I think maybe she'll come out later. All right, so the last one that you asked to be pulled is 22-126, authorized property sale.
I just wanna, I think it should be explained a little more, because it's a really good thing that
Yes.
the town is doing, which is selling off excess land, excess property. It's amazing, it's like a dream of mine, it's coming to fruition. So this is great, we'll be able to sell land, there'll be an initial cash influx into the town, which we could use for positive things to boost up Oakland, and I know there's some ideas out there on what to do. I've shared mine, and also then this land will hopefully become rateables, which will be tax revenue going forward, where otherwise it was sitting there not doing anything. Every town in New Jersey should do this.
I brought this up several months ago because the real estate market is so hot that we would get a really good price on it. I'm sure we will, because land is very valuable.
So right now, is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All right, so it says that this is a resolution for the Borough of Oakland authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the Borough of Oakland, and it's pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-139A. And the owner of certain properties are as follows: Block 5005, Lot 5, 146, which is 146 Manitou Avenue, for $180.
$180,000.
I'm sorry, $180, I'll buy it.
180,000.
Sorry, $180,000. The next one is Block 1702, Lot 20, Valley View. It is Valley View, Lot 20, for $80,000. And the third property is Block 1702, Lot 21, Valley View, and it's Valley View, Lot 21, for $80,000. Is there discussion? If there's no discussion, roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Kulisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And now we have ordinances. The first one, introduction, is 22 Code 883, which is the shade tree ordinance, an ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 19, tree removal and protection. There a motion?
So moved?
Second.
This is just the introduction. Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Kulisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Final hearing,
April 27th.
April 27th. A copy of this ordinance is available for public review. Please read the ordinance, and on April 27th, when we do the final adoption, it will be open to the public for discussion. But after you read the ordinance, the whole public, get a copy of ordinance 22 Code 883, send us your comments, your suggestions, we'd love to hear it. So thank you. 22 Code 884 is to amend Chapter 17, which is called Civil Service Eligibility Resident Preference. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 17, Section 1.5 of the Code of the Borough of Oakland entitled Civil Service Eligibility Residence Preference. It'll be classes, there are different classes, and it has to do with preferential treatment to residents of Oakland. So is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Kulisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Final hearing,
April 27th.
April 27, 2022. Again, please, if you're in the public and you want a copy of this ordinance, please get a copy of the ordinance so that during open hearing at the next meeting, you can give us your suggestions, but you don't have to wait till the hearing. You can always email any of us. We're all available on email. We have, and I have an open door policy. Come visit me. Kevin comes visits me all the time. Visit me. Tell me, I want to hear your opinions, your suggestions.
Just Mayor, just this ordinance, this was just, we were following this anyway,
Right.
we just had to.
Put it in writing, right?
Yeah, this.
It's like a memorialization
The
of it.
current ordinance on the books doesn't comply with the statute any longer.
Right,
That's correct.
it's nothing new, actually.
No. All right, now we have final adoption. This is what would happen on April 27th for the two that I just read. Code 22, Code 879, which is the cap bank. It's an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on this?
Can you explain a little more?
The cap bank, it's the local cap law and provides that in preparation for its annual budget, a municipality shall limit any increase in said budget up to 2.5% unless authorized by ordinance to increase it to 3.5% over the previous year's final appropriations, subject to certain exceptions. And offhand, quickly, exceptions.
No, really what it does is it just authorizes you to appropriate that additional
Right.
1% and still be compliant with the cap. And if not used, it really just gives you that spending authorization in either of the next two succeeding budget years.
Right, I know there were exceptions to that.
Well, the exceptions are the items that are outside the appropriation cap. For the most part, that's capital and debt.
Right. For example, like the fire engines. With that,
Yes.
right. And at this point, the governing body hereby determines that a 1% increase in the budget for said year amounting to $161,941.94 in excess of the increase in final appropriations otherwise permitted by the local government cap law is advisable and necessary. And this is all from our CFO. Grant was finance chairman. I think Kevin is on the committee. So is there anyone who would like to speak on this? Motion to close.
So moved.
There a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
22 Code 880 is to amend recreation fees, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Oakland, Chapter 9, Recreation Facilities and Recreation Areas, Subchapter 9-2.3, entitled Fees Schedule for Activities, to provide for the use of facilities and the fee schedule thereof. So these are the fees for adult sports, baseball, basketball, rec and open camp, cheerleading, football, golf, roller hockey, tennis, soccer, softball, wrestling, travel, baseball, summer sports camp, mountain bike program, special needs football, special needs cheerleading, volleyball summer camp, volleyball youth program, TGA half-day sports camp, TGA full-day sports camp, TGA full-day third week, cheerleading camp, spring break, half-day camp, spring break, full-day camp, lacrosse clinic, and high school lacrosse, which is such an impressive list. Thank you to our rec commission. So, is there a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone like to speak on the fees? Motion to close.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
We need a motion to adopt.
Oh,
Motion.
that would
Second.
help. That would help. Thank you. That's what, at least what I'm gonna do without you.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Michael, you understand, she's like the band leader. And the last one is, no, it's not the last one, 22 Code 881, water service for block 4202, lots 1, 2, and 3, known as the Finale property. The municipal consent of the borough for Suez Water, New Jersey, Inc., to provide water service to block 4202, lots 1, 2, and 3 in the borough of Oakland, and for the laying of pipes and the installation of other utility facilities as may be necessary. This is the property known as the Finale Tract. It's on McCoy Road near, you've seen on the border of Oakland and Franklin Lakes, McCoy Place. And then you see where it's I guess the horse farm, you see the sign for the horse farm. That will be the Finale Tract, and that's in front of the planning board, right? It's coming before the planning board. Yes.
Before,
So-
not submitted yet.
No, it's not tomorrow night, but it's coming. And instead of water from Oakland, this allows them to buy, for the residents who are going to be living there, they will be getting their water through Suez. So is there a motion to open to the public?
So motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on this? Motion to close.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this property has historically received water service from wells, and the property is to be developed with multifamily residential housing as part of the borough's affordable housing compliance plan. Suez Water, which is now known as something else, right? It was just bought out.
It was just merged with somebody
Yes,
else.
is a corporation providing water service to certain areas within the state of New Jersey, including the adjacent borough of Franklin Lakes. So it was decided that that probably would be the most economical way for these residents to get water. So is there a motion
So moved.
Second?
to adopt? Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And the last ordinance is ordinance 22, capital 882, called Capital Purchase Ordinance. And this is a capital ordinance of the Borough of Oakland in the County of Bergen, authorizing the making of various public improvements and acquisitions in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $333,000, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the general capital fund balance of the borough. And administration, $235,000, recreation, $35,000, site preparation, construction of the band shell, $63,000. These are all estimates. Is there a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And there you are. We are up to work session, traffic study recommendations.
Mayor, I think we can just turn it right over to Mr. Kemick.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. John Yakimic from Boswell Engineering here tonight. Addressing the item of congestion in the downtown and traffic accidents, there was a couple committee meetings with the mayor attending, Council President Pignatelli, the police, myself, the administrator, Richard Kunz, to...
And our traffic officer.
Yes, Brian
Brian
Rowan.
Rowan.
I said Oakland Police. I met that collectively with the chief and Brian, but yes, our traffic safety officer was there as well. And up on the screen this evening, behind me, is the downtown, and hopefully the microphone can pick me up while I talk to it. Mayor, how much time do I have?
Much as you need.
That's right, I was going to say,
Drive time.
but I don't, you're not Steve. He gets 3 minutes, you get as much as you need.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't do it.
So there were a couple of areas that the committee looked at that they identified as bottlenecks, and I'll go right to the one where the problem is. It's the Devil's Movement, I call it, which is from West Oakland Avenue, this left turn, and to make another left turn onto Yawpaw Avenue. And the committee felt that this was the area that was causing much of the congestion in downtown in both directions. And what was one of the proposals, and this proposal was put forth a number of years ago, and we're resurrecting it again, is to prohibit this left turn movement onto Yawpaw and force these motorists to make the left turn at Maple or at Oak, and to use the signal at Oak. And the thought is that the reason why that would be better is because we have more stacking ability at Oak, less stacking ability at Maple, but very limited, as you know, this lane goes forever, but very limited stacking for anybody making this Devil's movement. And this movement tends to block people trying to go through. We got traffic data, as you know, from the county a couple of years ago. We put it into, Boswell put it into a synchro analysis, which is state-of-the-art programming, and we found that by doing that, it will improve traffic movement in the intersection, and there will be minimal impacts, negative impacts, to most notably Oak Street. Maple, it gets a little narrow right here, so we'd have to put a left turn slot in here. But we think it's worth it to at least try it on a trial basis. And go ahead, Mayor.
One of the things, I drive this road every single day. My house is on the north end, my office is on the south end. Every day I sit at the light and I have to go straight on 202 North. And it bothers me because people don't put on their signal to make a left onto West Oakland Avenue.
That's this light here, Mayor.
Correct. So I was asking if we did this, could we then make a third lane going northbound where the traffic on 202 North, those people who are going to make a left on West Oakland Avenue would have to go into that lane, so that there would be 2 lanes going forward on 202 North. And we wouldn't have to worry about signaling, because if you go home, well, if you, and Pat will know because he lives there, at around 6 o'clock,
From 3:30 to 6.
from north end into town, it's a bottleneck. And because people are making a left. And if you're going northbound from the middle of town or further south, maybe towards where Burger King is, traffic just lines up, and especially when school is at, but that's a different story. But at Oak Street, you can't get past Oak Street because everybody's stopped, and you get stopped at the red light, you stay in the middle. You don't have
let
courteous.
me just clarify what the mayor was saying. If, to get that third lane here, this signal here has that, what we call a lagging left. The green arrow comes on after it stays green. People sometimes do not signal, they sit in that lane, and that backs up traffic because the people behind them think that they're going to make the through movement and go on 202, and that adds to the congestion. What the mayor is suggesting is to create a third dedicated left turn lane only, and to have 2 through lanes. The original suggestion was to widen this out, but that is quite impractical. There are 2 railroad automatic crossing gates there. Those cost upwards of $250,000 each to move. So the thought was, if this left turn movement lane was removed, that could possibly be made into a dedicated left turning lane going in the opposite direction, and then you would have only 1 through lane here that would branch out into 2 for the people that want to come up to Yorkville Avenue. So hopefully I explained that correctly on what the mayor was saying.
Thank you.
I will say this with this scheme. We've had some comments from the fire department, which we must address.
Yes.
They are concerned about response time to the fire department as a result of prohibiting this movement, and we will talk to them. We've talked to the county, who maintains the road. They will work with us to put in whatever temporary trial notifications need to be done to try it on a trial basis.
Can I just stop you for a minute?
Yes.
Because I don't think a lot of residents understand one of the other major problems we have. Yorpo is our road. 202 is a county road. And going towards West Oakland Avenue with the lights is controlled by the state. So whenever we have tried to do anything with dealing with 3 entities, the Borough of Oakland, the County of Bergen, and the state of New Jersey.
And the lights are under 2 separate jurisdictions that don't talk to each other or
Yes.
don't work each other, which is why I've been
Yes.
advocating, although I keep hearing no, I think we need to find a way to yes for essentially the AI technology where
Adaptive signal.
this adaptive
Right.
signaling would come in and coordinate all of that, because we've all sat at the light on Franklin Ave at night, and you just sit there and wait. Like, if we're worried about the environment and idling and all these different things, I mean, most of the idling happens and, like, you come off 287 by Travado's and you're just sitting there waiting to make a left-hand turn on West Oakland Avenue for no reason, where that adaptive signaling could detect your vehicle, make the light green because nobody's coming in either way. I mean, that's a long light, and
But
you
that
could go.
light is a state light, if
That's a
I'm
state
correct.
light.
It's a state light.
Whereas the Franklin Avenue light is controlled by the county.
Correct.
There are many moving parts here. Some lifts are easier than others. Right now, this would be the easiest lift at this time to try this on a trial basis and to see how the public reacts to it. If, we talked to the fire department.
They said they
and-
were reasonable, they would talk to us.
Okay.
I spoke to the chief.
So that's the main objective that we're trying to accomplish right now. We also, before I leave that, in order for this to work, the signal cycle at Oak would have to go to 120 seconds, which is not unusual. Right now, that signal cycle is only 90 seconds. And what really controls...
Could you just explain what that means for
That
everybody?
means that to go all directions from amber, red, green, leading green, the entire cycle is 90 seconds long. That doesn't mean a person will be waiting 90 seconds. That means that in one direction it'll be green for, say, 30 of those 90. Another direction will be 30 of those 90. That eats up 60 seconds. And then the remaining 30 seconds would be maybe for a leading green in each direction. So in order to make this work, you're going to, typically we're going to have a lot of people now at this light. What really drives traffic design is people's patience. And that is something that's very hard to quantify. And so I always say that drainage and rainfall and flooding is hard to quantify. I would venture to say that traffic and how people react is even harder. So that's why I think, even though we crunch the numbers in the office and we use the state-of-the-art technology to crunch those numbers, I think to see how people react to something on a trial basis is really the proof of the pudding. And maybe if we could do it for a week or two, monitor it out there with the police, monitor the concerns of the residents, we could get a true understanding if this is something we want to presume permanently in the future. And time is of the essence on this because the county wants to repave Rampo Valley Road. We still have to install a sanitary force main down Yawpaw and 202 for the Oakwood Knolls treatment plant. And then we still have to, the county has to bring up the curb ramps up to ADA compliant before they pave. And so if this scenario works, we want to be able to tell the county to stripe it accordingly so that it would be a permanent improvement when they repave 202 later this year.
I would just like to say, if I may, we've been working on this since September of last year. We've considered several different options. One commonly spoken by many people is to realign West Oakland to Yawpaw Avenue, which is basically not going to happen because the railroad controls that area. We would never be able to realign the road that way. The other one would be a bypass road off of 287, which would cost probably $10 million to do. As you said before, this is the least expensive way to try and alleviate some of the problem. And we do have to ask people for patience. I know change is difficult for many, many people, but we need to try something. We're not saying this is the end all, that it's going to be like this forever. What we're saying is, let's try something. And if it works, it's to our benefit. If it doesn't work, we go back to the way it was before. So I appreciate what you've been doing. We've had simulations at the library and our meetings for all the different options that we brought forward. The mayor had a couple, I had a couple. And this seems to be the least intrusive, I think. I mean, the least expensive, that's for sure.
At one time, there was, we were worried about the businesses in the shopping center. Is it still called Seals? It's still called Seals. But people could still get there. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and by the way, Mr. Decker reached out to me.
Oh, good. Because one of my pet peeves is that ugly metal fence that I sit when I sit at the light, because I'm sitting there all the time, and I look at that rusty metal fencing, and we're trying to work with him. He said he would.
And
work with
what we
us.
were saying before about the
Right.
stacking, right now, I mean, I'm at that intersection a lot. Right now, if someone coming off of West Oakland Avenue wanting to go up Yawpaw, you can only stack 2, maybe
They-
3 cars.
And
I really don't-
they'll block the traffic.
They'll block the traffic. This way, they'll be able to stack all the way down Maple, and what's the name of the other road coming back north from Maple? Behind the Krausers.
Oh, well, you have Terhune here, which turns into
Right.
Maple.
You're talking about Hume by the drugstore?
I'm talking about the barber shop and the tire place.
Maple.
Yeah, this is Maple.
about the wood behind.
Oh, you're talking about where the consignment shop is. Is
Yes.
Right here.
that a name? Is there a name on that street?
Parking lot.
I didn't know there was a name.
Raritan, maybe?
Raritan, that's the name of the
No, it
road.
could be an
Named,
extension of
Pignatelli Way.
Won't fit on the sign.
So,
We just have to
that's
talk to the fire
basically it.
department.
If there's any questions by the council at this time?
It just, so by making no left on Yapo, they'll come, that's going to increase the traffic on Raritan. I guess we're calling it Raritan behind the liquor store. Yeah, so
Yes.
there'll be more
Or-
traffic going through there. Because I mean, I drop my daughter off at the high school every morning. So instead of making the left on Yapo, I would go around that way. And then, so there would be more traffic going through that.
Or you could make it on Oak and
Or-
go further up behind the shopping center.
I think the tendency is that people are gonna try to use this obviously first, because it's less to travel.
Right.
But they might see this back up a little bit, and they might see the light down at Oak changing to green. So, like I say, it's how people react to what's going on out there and what their patience is.
Isn't that
And
the
we
same-
don't really know that until we try something.
Right.
So that's what the bus depot in New York is too, though, right? Is there?
Yes.
So they're there, what about and you have Copper Street Mall. So is that impact been assessed in this?
Yes, I talked with Officer Rowan. I asked what the bus route is. The bus route is, they make the left here on Maple, come to the bus depot, and they just exit very quickly. So it's this movement. So the original talk was to prohibit the left at Maple, but you obviously can't do that.
Right.
Because of the bus movement and because Copper Tree Mall, to get there, you would have to do quite a circuitous route to get there. So you have to allow this left here at Maple.
Oh, and my point is, there's excess traffic between the bus route and Copper Tree Mall. Has that been assessed?
No, that has been assessed, and we don't see that as being
Okay.
a large amount of
And
traffic.
also,
that
since they
concern.
removed, I had spoken to the owner of the shopping center last summer, since they removed that triangular sidewalk,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that has helped because there used to be a lot of accidents there.
I think I hit it at least 3 times. Yeah.
Was a traffic circle ever proposed? That was one of the
Oh,
options.
I know what you meant.
I sent you
no.
something on traffic circles.
Well, when I talk
I'm big
about
on
a
traffic
circle,
circles, actually.
I talk about this movement here.
No, I'm saying, like, that intersection, instead of having lights, and we talk about people's patience, being at lights, I know in a lot of towns, they've actually gone to traffic circles. Actually, one of the towns near where I used to live, they added traffic circles all along, and it almost eliminated all the backup and buildup, because people naturally will designate, have you ever been down to the Somerville Circle, for instance, or the Flemington Circle? I mean, that moves, right? That just moves.
Yeah.
And I've seen
I'm not gonna-
smaller ones in towns that work really well.
We hope.
And you need more real estate for that, a little bit more. There's the infamous Franklin Lake Circle by the Market Basket, which is extremely small.
Really small.
But you have the other ones like.
It's also not as congested of an area as this
Right.
is.
But to your question, no, we have not looked at
123.
circles.
How come?
Because of the real estate involved in order to.
So it's not even an option because
Well,
of the space.
Well, I don't want to say it's not even, but we haven't gotten
I have
there
to tell
yet.
you, in 1990, the famous Eurosec proposal, I still say it's got to be somewhere in the basement somewhere.
I have him there. It's in
You
my
have the
office, and I'm
Eurosec,
not
he was the
kidding, I have it.
engineer, Eurosec. And he did a proposal, we spent years on that proposal with it was a bypass road. Remember the bypass
Yeah,
road?
basically went right through Bush Plaza
Right.
and followed the railroad all the way down to Oak Street by the DPW facility as basically the other side of the ring road from what Oak Street is doing.
Now, especially with baseball season and the warm weather, I remember driving my sons to the rec field. I had to allow a half hour because of the traffic. We're hoping that this helps. We don't know.
What are the next steps then? So,
I just,
thank you for-
I really think you should consider, at least consider looking at a traffic circle.
Okay,
Seriously, I mean that.
yeah, okay. No, I'm not saying that flippantly, Councilman. You know, the area of the traffic circle, we might have enough real estate to do something like this right here, right? in
And avoid a light.
Yes.
We would
Imagine
need-
that.
We would need permission from both Trenton and Hackensack.
Yeah, I thought they were eliminating circles. though.
I thought so too. I mean,
They're coming back, so, you know, being in the business as long as I've been.
Yeah.
Let's go back to his plan.
they used to be on
Yeah.
Route 23 and they eliminated them
Yeah.
because people
Well-
don't know who has the right of way. That's one of the
But
problems.
the
So now
problem is
you're
going
asking-
to be, we would need permission from
Right.
Hackensack and Trenton.
That'll never happen.
Okay, so we, going forward, are we looking for signage? Are you looking for permission? What are we?
We're looking for something.
The next step would be that I have a serious conversation with the county and say that the council is serious about trying this on a trial basis. This is your road, what do we need to do? Do you need a plan to show what the striping needs to be to effectuate this? Do we need some variable message signs to warn the public that this is coming? It's your road. Tell us what you need for us to show to you to try this. That would be the next step.
I think I think that just makes sense. I mean, like you said, we have to try something, and we've done. It seems like we've done a lot of research, and this seems to be the least path of resistance. And so let's try this. I think.
So why don't we do a straw poll?
I'm for it.
You want to start, then you said it?
I'm for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Although I prefer circles, I'll say yes.
Crop circles?
A conditional yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Subject to.
Thank
If they
you
put
very
it in
much.
grant, you gotta come back and visit, right?
The next one is support bail reform measures.
Definitely.
I read the chief's memo. We spoke on the phone today, spoke with Chief Sanzeri on the phone for a while today about this and why he supports it and some more details that we had when we had our public safety committee meeting. And Councilman Kamal is not here, but he would speak to that as well because we both listened to the chief on it, and I think it's pretty clear cut. This is something I strongly do support.
It's getting out of control.
Mm-hmm.
2 car thefts in Oakland this year.
So we have sample resolution from did you get the sample resolution from Saddle River? Because they have a lot of car thefts. And it just will be very helpful. With this bail reform, it prohibits it really stifles the police on going after the suspects. So if you're interested, we could put this on the next meeting as a resolution.
Please do.
Okay. The next is support reforms to Attorney General's vehicular, the vehicular pursuit policy. Then that's the other resolution, that you're not supposed to, you can't go after them. Stand it,
Again, I'm for that too.
okay?
So what does he
And-
say? Car thefts are, I didn't pull it up, 70% in New Jersey this year since this was passed.
Yes.
70%
Yeah.
increase. Phew.
And now the
Please be doing a good
community
job.
It's called
project.
unintended consequences of bad law.
Well, you know I prosecute. Every time I'm in court, half the people don't show up. And that's good if it's only half the calendar doesn't show up. And I always say to the judge, so what are the repercussions? He can't suspend licenses anymore. At one time, if you didn't show up in court, your license could be suspended. No more. He can't do a bench warrant. The only time a bench warrant is allowed is if it's a criminal and he hasn't shown up at least twice and we have proof that he or she received the mailing. There's no accountability anymore. So we have to do whatever we can.
We'll see if they listen to us.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement.
Okay, so now Congressional Community Project Funding.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So once again, so this is the second year where Congress has decided to include in the upcoming federal budget process, because the other one literally ended last month, passage of the omnibus bill. A category called member designated projects, where members are allowed to submit for funding individual projects within their districts. Last year was the first year where that project or that program relaunched after a hiatus in Congress of probably close to 20 years or so. So the congressmen and also our state senate or our senators are accepting applications for inclusion. Each member will be able to select, I believe, up to 15 projects. Even if our project is selected, that's no guarantee of funding, as we saw last year with the Patriots Way Bridge, where it fell victim to negotiations. But there was a recent webinar with Congressman Gottheimer's office. They encouraged us to reapply for Patriots Way Bridge. We would like to pursue that opportunity again, and with updated funding cost estimates as well, given the inflation over the past year. In addition, we're not limited to a single application. We can submit multiple. I think to increase our chances and kind of broaden the perspective of what we're applying for, we took a kind of a close look at the resource funding guide provided by the Congressman's office, and we'd like to apply for an electric vehicle charging station. I know that's something you'll see coming up more later this month. There is a state grant program out there right now, but that's not likely to cover the full cost of it. So we'd like to pursue federal funding. If that's something that the council wishes to ultimately see here in town, it would be nice to be able to get federal funding to pay for that. Because the level 3 chargers, which are really the ones that you would want in a downtown setting where somebody's coming in, frequenting a business, coming off the interstate and recharging, that's really the type of charger that you need to make it worthwhile. They can be between $250,000 to $300,000 to do. So we'd like to apply for that, and also there are a couple of emergency generator projects which we've been working on for a couple of our first responder facilities, and we'd like to apply for that as well. Again, all of these projects fall under different departmental criteria as set forth in the guide.
I'd just like the public to know we actively pursue all grants to help supplement our budget rather than taxpayer dollars.
And right now, even though it's Josh Gottheimer, as many of you are aware, maybe not aware, they moved Oakland and Franklin Lakes out of the Congressional District 5. They moved us into 9, which is Pasquale's district. And I've been in touch with his office so that we don't lose any kinds of movement to get any kind of grants possible, especially with the federal funding. We're still going to be remaining in district, last I heard, I don't know, they keep changing. We're still going to remain in District 39 on the state level.
And having Pascal, I mean, he's a very senior,
Yes, very senior.
very senior Democrat in Washington, and that helps a lot.
He will, we'll see. Hopefully you're right. But I've been in contact,
Thank you, yeah,
I've been
great.
trying to be a pest.
So the applications are due next week. If everybody's okay with what we've put forth, we will endeavor to submit those applications by the deadline. And what you'll see on the next agenda is just resolutions to memorialize that decision.
So, okay, yes, I'm in support of everything you said, but I would like to build on this a little bit. Maybe not specifically on this, but something that came up last meeting was, so this is essentially pork barrel spending money in Congress, right, for these pet projects in your congressional districts.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we talked about last meeting is the PFOAs and the chemicals that through to the not a law but regulation from Phil Murphy from the governor's office is now costing Oakland a lot of money. But correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, last meeting it was said that Ridgewood
Yes.
had the same problem and received money from this process, and we did not.
I think it's because, aren't they selling, don't they sell?
Right, so Ridgewood Water serves multiple towns. It's a
Okay.
much larger system. So last year, they put in for this because they were already, I think, facing exceedances. And that was one of the projects that wasn't negotiated out of the final omnibus bill grant. So yes, that was included.
Okay.
And we've been looking for sources of PFAS funding There will be some money made available in the iBank, but as we were talking about earlier, the iBank process does not
getting tight.
align well with the time frame that we have.
Because it's a tight time frame, Rich, right? It's a
Well,
very tight time
Well, and
frame.
here's the issue, right? So the DEP says, you have a year to install the treatment. Knowing full well when they send that letter that there's no way for a town to comply within a year. Because their permit approval process right now is running more than 4 months alone.
So is this really as high priority as they say, Rich?
Well,
Because they're not acting like it.
right. But we have to show that we're making a good faith effort to move this process along. So to that extent, you know, it would be great if the state had come up with another source of funding for us for it.
So what if we proposed something, pass a resolution, can this be done, essentially asking our legislature and the governor, Phil Murphy passes the governor passes a regulation, it's not even a law, a regulation, that's gonna cost us an incredible amount of our taxpayer dollars in a very tight time frame with this poor permit process that you're talking about. But what if, it's some ideas that were thrown around, I think Rich or maybe David, I'm not sure, said if essentially the DEP were to create a fund to cover the cost per well site, a percentage of the overall cost to help supplement this hit that we're taking that we didn't plan on because they passed a regulation for something that, and again, not even California has a regulation on. And I'm not saying we want these things in our water, it's great to have better filters, but this is a short turnaround, it's a lot of money, and we're not getting any support. So can we pass a resolution, come up with something, asking for support for the DEP? Is this something League of Municipalities could get involved in? I don't know, but I think Oakland, at the very least, because not every town is under this, should pass some type of resolution that we send a letter, that we send something to Trenton, to the governor, to our legislators saying Oakland needs help with either a percentage of this cost or a per well cost in this renovation that we have to do
We're not,
to our water system.
just so you know, we're not sitting back, and next month I'm going to a big mayor's meeting with all the commissioners. And I have a list between Alaman Brook, Patriots Way Bridge, 91 West, Oak Avenue, and sewers, and the PFAS and PFOAs. There are so many problems we have. And it's not just us, because you know I go to these meetings regularly. I took you to the meetings. We're not the only town that has these meetings, but unfortunately, our particular town, where we're situated, the size of the town, is not highlighted.
Well, I
So
think we
will.
should show that we are looking out for our taxpayers and I'm asking, anybody happy to disagree with me, we should pass a resolution and send something down there saying, we're asking, you pass this regulation, you gotta come back and help us out.
We are passing the resolution, we passed it with the Bergen League of Municipalities, the Northwest Mayor's Group. We are passing all these resolutions, but you know what they do with this paper? We have to speak up, and we need our legislators, and we have to get in touch with Bob Orth, Diane DeFuscio, our state senator, and we have to talk to the congressman. We have to keep talking. We have to be that squeaky wheel.
So let's send a
That's
very
what it is.
strongly worded resolution saying that we need help with this treatment system upgrade that we have to do because of their
I
regulation.
thought we already sent it.
Didn't
we already send a letter?
Right, but a resolution on PFAS, we haven't done that.
We haven't done that.
We could do the resolution, and
Could we have that at next meeting?
Pushing.
Does anybody disagree with having that?
No, but we have to keep pushing in addition. It's paper. And I'm saying that it's in addition to the paper, we need help. We need our legislators to help us.
Well, let's send our legislators that paper.
Let's go back to, we've sent the letter, so we want to put a resolution, is your proposal to put a resolution for next meeting?
For next meeting, yeah. Saying we're asking the DEP to have a fund to help us alleviate some of the costs, either percentage of the project or a per well for the treatment upgrade that we have to do, based on their regulation.
Brian and Rich, is that possible?
We can put a resolution.
We can do a resolution.
We'll do a
Do a
resolution.
resolution.
It's the follow-up that it can't just sit a resolution.
We'll do
We have to
We'll get the
follow up.
follow-up, don't worry, squeaky wheel.
That's what I said, the squeaky wheel. I have to keep talking
Give me
and
the context,
pressuring
and I'll
them.
take them and move forward.
You got it.
All right. New business. Old business.
I have old business unless
Okay.
anybody else does.
Go ahead.
I know it was going to the administration committee about honoring our veterans in the streetscape. Is there any update on that?
On honoring the veterans and streets.
No, I believe the last we had talked was about putting together a program that would lead into Veterans Day, but nothing for the upcoming holiday. But so that's still kind of a work in progress. We're doing some research on it.
Veterans Day would be in November.
November.
Yeah.
It was a very nice.
But there is a plan to do something where we're going to hang banners up and down 202 with
Not
veterans.
sure if it's going to be banners or something more using the newsletter, social media, the sign board, things like that. I don't really think that we have the ability to do banners on poles right now. But that's one of the things we're kind of going to be talking about is, what's the best way to facilitate that.
At
So
the
it's
end
been
of
on
March.
it's been on the meeting for the administration?
We're going to be having a meeting coming up next week.
Okay, and it'll be on the agenda?
And I
We'll
have
talk
to
about
say,
Thank you.
when we had the veterans, the Vietnam veterans ceremony, that was very moving. That was very special, and we should do
I
that.
wish I could have gotten there.
It was beautiful. It was cold, but beautiful.
Just another thing on old business, as far as the DOT, Allerman Brook, FEMA, instead of putting that as flood commission report, I think it's important to talk about just some updates on that. I know Rich, and John, you were telling me earlier, another meeting just happened with FEMA. Some presentation made, we won't know until June what some hard numbers are going to be. We continue to be in touch with the DOT. I just heard back again from Anthony Sicko about their site visit to Allerman Brook. So I know we have some residents here, or a resident here from Allerman Brook, so we're continue to be on that and continue to move forward to address the situation that you're all under.
Do they have a date for the site meeting?
The DOT already came out.
Oh, they did.
They did. Yeah.
But you did okay in the last rain.
That's good. That's better than the response of, it's not our jurisdiction.
Yes.
So
Because
that's progress.
I drive by, and Mr. Wolford called that there was water on Lake Shore.
So another thing under old business I want to bring up is the social media and how I feel I'm very disappointed. I was optimistic, but continue to be now disappointed again with how social media is going. First of all, there was no post on April 2nd, which is World Autism Day. It's also my birthday. So you didn't have to make a birthday post, but I expected the town to make a post on World Autism Day. I mean, pretty much everybody did. Again, social media is about getting valuable information out, but about promoting Oakland and promoting positive things in our citizens, and that's what it's really supposed to be. And there still hasn't been a post on Autism Month. Now, we still have time for that, so hopefully that will happen. Another thing is there is just the details of the rescheduling that was posted were not clear. It was just another repost of the same flyer. If you look at other towns that had the Easter egg hunt, sorry. Other towns had to reschedule theirs because of the rain. It was alert, reschedule, new date, new time. Ours was just a repost of the same old graphic, nothing to draw attention to the date, the new date.
The mayor did a reverse.
No, what happened was I ran to Borough Hall on Friday because of the weather forecast. I sat with Michael, I sat with Richard, I think you had left. We were on the phone with Maine and with Chopper. What are we going to do about the Easter egg hunt? And it was already 4:30, almost 5 o'clock. And I said, it's a gamble. I really think we should have had it on Saturday. Chopper said, no, it doesn't look good, plus it's supposed to rain that night. The ground will be very wet. Mame and I thought maybe we shouldn't postpone it. I woke up Saturday morning and I saw sun, I wanted to cry. But I said to Michael, I think we put it on Facebook, we put it on email, we put it on the website, and I said,
reverse 911.
and I did a reverse time. I rushed home to get to do the reverse 911.
Not talking about the reverse 911 here.
It was the only thing we could do. It was a
I
last
agree.
minute
You got to do
decision.
that. I mean, not everybody gets it. Like, I couldn't make it once it was postponed because it was on Palm Sunday. So that's a
Like
family
I
day.
said,
Things
yes, it's
going
not
on
my
Palm
holiday,
Sunday.
and I
Right.
said, is that going to be a problem? And so I have to rely on those who observe Palm Sunday to tell me, is that a problem? And they said, no, because it was 1 o'clock after church. I don't know, I don't know if church is all day. And they said, no, it's not a problem. We're safer to do it on Sunday. And that's
No, that
what
is
happened.
what it is. And
As
you
far
all
as
did
the
what you could with
flyer
it.
goes, that is Chopper who pays for it. Doesn't he pay for it?
Mhm.
That is his
Yes.
donation.
Yes, very good. Right, but we just put the same one out there instead of, you could, which you can, but say, attention, new date and time, but
But it
anyway.
did say rain date.
So I think the feedback's not right. Can we do a better job?
Better job, that's a
Especially
feedback. We
with-
gotta do a better job
That's
drawing
fair
attention to that. Then next is, we've talked about this multiple times with Rich, with Michael, that several posts, daily and weekly, that belong as stories. When you're reposting things and you're sending out information, especially multiple posts in a day, many of these posts are supposed to be stories, which means they disappear after a period of time. Everybody understand? Like, I'm
No.
not a social media wizard, but I've learned in this role how social media works,
I don't
because that's
understand what
important for
you're
me
saying, so-
to learn how it works. Social media, you should have certain things are posts where they're permanent, and other things are story where they're semi-permanent, they're up for a period of time, and then they go away. What's happening is we have a meeting about social media. It's good, things are stories, things are cleaned up, and then it goes back to the old way, which we have this work to try to revamp it, and then it goes back to the old way again, which is not good. That's not looking good. We want to have the best social media in New Jersey. So I'm not trying to beat up on anybody, but we have these plans, we talk to people, but then it doesn't seem to be carried through. And my other thing with the social media is why volunteers are being restricted to have access to it to make posts. Why it has to be controlled in Borough Hall, where other things, such as, I'm gonna say, because I'm the OCC, so let's use the TV committee example. Like Jim Barry, who's the TV committee chair, has access to things. Salma, who's the bulletin board chair, has access to certain things. Website, they have access to the website to make updates. It only seems with the social media that the volunteers, it was Alex McVeigh and now it's Michael Gambatese, are being blocked out by borough administrator, assistant borough administrator, are not allowing them to have access to make posts. So if you have volunteers who have incredible talents, professionally volunteer, that want to be able to do this, have extensive experience in using and utilizing social media in a positive way to benefit our community, why are we blocking them out? I think that needs to change, and I feel that Michael Gambatese, at a minimum, who's this social media chairman, should have access to be able to go in there and make posts.
Well, have they met and talked about this?
We have talked about this, and we've been told
Who
no.
did you talk to about?
Had a meeting with Rich and Michael about it. It got a little better, and now it's gone back to the old ways.
All right, so call a meeting and I'll sit in the meeting. I'd like to sit down.
We don't need another meeting.
Well, I would
Michael
like to hear-
Gambatese should
I would
have
like
access.
to hear both sides and find out what's going on, since I was not
And Alex
invited to that meeting.
McVeigh, who was the former social media chairman who quit, had said this, when I talked to him, essentially
Okay.
explained to me it's history repeating itself, and
So
that's
we're
why
now
he quit.
I'm going to sit there and hear both sides, and that's how we'll do
Bell
it.
rings on both sides, that's for sure.
Okay, that's good. Next. That's it?
It's all my new business.
All right, so finish up and do your council report.
Oh man, I got a lot. Okay.
Come on, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Save some for next week.
Recreation, registration is open for soccer, youth tennis, and summer sports camps. They're all open, register online. Summer camp signups begin May 1st and end June 10th. That's a 6-week period of time that you can register. There are no late signups. Understand it? No late signups. So find time in that six-week window to go to oaklandrec.org, that's oaklandrec.org, and sign up. Mayor mentioned it earlier, but I'll say it again. The baseball and softball parade returns this year on June 4th. And Open Camp will have all of its trips back. So yeah, very good news, Commissioner Guadagnino. It's going to be a really big year for camp. So with all the trips back, everything's coming back. It's very exciting. Access for All, we had a meeting last Wednesday, and we are looking for sensory supplies. So there'll be a list being published, we're going to put out in the bulletin board and other communications, but looking for sensory supplies to help with the carnival. And the big announcement with the carnival, I want to thank Public Events. We had Jody, who's the chairwoman for the Access for All, attend Public Events. Thank you to Councilman Talamini for having them in and for working with his committee on allowing for the carnival to open 1 hour earlier for residents, adults, youth, families with special needs are going to be able to go to the carnival an hour early. Great. Without the big crowd, certain rides won't be running that have the extra sounds and lights and things like that.
It'll be on a Saturday, just on that Saturday.
Just on that Saturday, we're going to open it up 1 hour early. I'm getting chills because, again, this is like such a passion for me, and the volunteers involved are so passionate too. It's a beautiful thing that they're going to be able to go in there. We'll have sensory supplies. If anybody's overwhelmed, we'll be able to there. We're looking for therapy dogs to be there too, in case anybody gets overwhelmed. So they're really going all in and comprehensively to do this. It's super exciting. I'm honored to be able to announce it. We also learned a lot about it used to be Eastern Christian, they gave a presentation here, but now it's called Hope Christian Service of that house that's being built on the top of Yapo. It's a group home for adults with special needs. We had the chairman of their board come and give a presentation. He happens to be an Oakland resident, and that was interesting. Also, they're working on a logo, and a logo design, it may be a contest, they may open it up to the school, so we're gonna see, but designing and developing a logo for their commission, which is very exciting. Next. Sorry. This feels like an eternity now. Sorry. The OCC report. The newsletter committee is looking for a plethora, that's Ryan's word, of new volunteers. The committee of 2 needs help, really do. If you can write, you got stories to tell, you want to interview people, please get involved. We need more people for the newsletter committee. Liz Lorente does a great job as the editor, very busy lady, so I'm impressed that she's able to do it, but we really need more people for that. Oakland TV just wants to remind you that you can view it 24/7 from your cell phone, tablet, computer, Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, Apple TV device. You download the local BTV app, you sign up, and you can start watching in less than 10 minutes. You can stream from anywhere. I mentioned earlier about the digitization, which is really exciting too. The Bulletin Board Committee wants to know about your events. So if you're doing something in town, you've got an activity in town, I know we passed things like for the Fathers Club today. I hope they get that information to the Bulletin Board. They may already. But anything happening in our community, you should send it to the Bulletin Board, and we'll get it put up there. And we, like always, I know the mayor mentioned last time about a music submission, so we need to follow up on that individual who may be able to submit some music. Because if you have original music, you can submit it to be the background to play. The chairman wants to thank everyone who expressed interest in volunteering for the committee as well. It's good that we have our new commissioner. Congratulations to Bill Sisti for stepping up, for all he's always done for the committee. He's a good friend, and I'm glad he's getting even more involved. The OCC has its next meeting on May 2nd at 7:30, and it will be in person at the council chambers. And I should have mentioned that as well. Access for All will be in person going forward. They'll be meeting at the Senior Center. Next, I'm going to give the Flood Commission report. The Flood Commission met on Monday at the Senior Center. They are looking for 1 new member. Interested parties leave the short resume with the citizen leadership form. Get that from Lisa or the clerk. When you get, step up. We really need that 1 person. Flood Commission is really important, as we see with Allen and Brook. I know I've asked a few people if they're interested in getting involved, but we really need that 1 more volunteer to round it out. There were discussions on Ramapo River restoration, FEMA and NRCS funding for the storm damages, and upcoming inspections of daylighted stormwater systems. And this is from Chairman Levy directly. The Flood Commission was informed by more than 1 of the resident attendees they were told not to go to the Flood Commission meeting, as the Flood Commission has no power by the mayor. This in the Flood Commission.
Excuse me, the mayor said that?
This is, I'm reading word for word from Chairman Levy.
That's incorrect.
Reading word for word,
factually
as I prefaced
incorrect.
it, this is word for word from Chairman Levy. He asked me to read this.
I will call him.
As we know, we all get sent things to read sometimes, and we just go ahead and read them. That's all I'm doing here. This is the Flood Commission Chair's opinion.
He told them that they didn't have any power.
It is a terrible, telling, and irresponsible statement. Any resident or member of the public is welcome to attend, participate in, ask questions, and seek help from the Oakland Flood Commission. We have repaired damaged waterways, replaced damaged head walls, put together a CRS program with Nick Angoli, the Borough floodplain manager, and most recently ran a flood insurance seminar which saved residents over $20,000. Combined with the first 25 days of its presentation, the members are disappointed in the mayor's lack of leadership, failure to seek any and all resolution to residents' problems, and the attitude towards the group.
At 91 West Oakland Avenue.
That has, in addition to the above accomplishments, initiated follow-up on and saw to completion the floodgate project years ago. While all appreciate the stellar job Mayor has done getting sewers installed, the statements are misplaced, and the Flood Commission wants to assure everyone you need us and we are here to help. End quote.
Sorry.
I'll call him right after the meeting.
End quote.
I will call him.
I did my job. Do not take it.
You're only the messenger.
I'm the messenger.
Grant, we good?
What?
I want to extend the meeting.
I'm still going. Next meeting is May 2nd. at 7:30 at the senior center. So, what else do I have? Finance committee report. One more. So the finance committee rec fees are up 35,000 over 2021, driving a 17% increase to local revenues. 17% increase, wow. Uniform fire safety is up 30,000 over 2021, driving the 18% increase in other revenue. Water collections are improving from January, as I reported last meeting. They weren't great. Sewer collections are up 18% over 2021, and the grace period on utilities in place due to COVID ended on March 15th. So just so everyone know, the grace period ended in March. The state budget doc and the user-friendly budget summary were posted to the website, so go ahead and check that out. And the budget hearing for the town will be set on April 27th. Want to wish everybody a happy, healthy Holy Week, sweet Passover, and a blessed Easter. It's good news. Thank you,
I think
Mayor.
the 27th is going to be maybe we could start the meeting earlier,
For that,
because it's going to be we have the two teams coming, we have the budget
we have
hearing,
the Bush Plaza.
Bush
The
Plaza.
one team,
Talk about that meeting next time.
the one team isn't coming until later too, because they have lacrosse, and they're coming later, and they want to be honored in the second half of the meeting.
Well, at this rate, it may be the first half of the meeting. All right. Councilman,
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On April 5th, I met with the Environmental Commission. Before I forget, they need one more member. Anyone who's looking to come on a committee or you're interested in the environment and preserving the environment, they do a lot of good projects here in town. So you want to get involved in environmental protection, please fill out the leadership form at the Borough Hall. They also discussed the GS mapping. We're going to do GS mapping of all the open space in town, along with the trails. Don't forget, April 30th is a town-wide cleanup from 9 a.m. to 12. Food is going to be at the Great Oak Park. The cleanup is going to be at Potash Lake, Truman, Rec Field, and Great Oak Park. So the team up to cleanup, which I said is April 30th from 9 to 12, meet at the Danny Delia building. Make sure to bring gloves and a bottle of water. If you need additional information, you can send an email to assistadmin, which is ASSISTADMIN @oakland-nj.org. Don't forget, Hazardous Cleanup Day is going to be May 14th, same day as the shredding day in town, from 9 to 3 at Camp Gaw. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to the Public Events Committee, all those volunteers. They do a wonderful job every year. You see the hard work that they put into it. And then also, I just want to mention the vendors at the Easter egg hunt. We got the donuts donated by the Krausers in town. We typically get them from another store, and we didn't this year. We'll just say that. And Krauser stepped up for us, and then I just want to say to coffee roasters, they're at every event, and they donate the coffee or the hot chocolate. It's just great what the volunteers do.
And they serve.
Really, a lot of it is just asking. The worst, I have a good friend, he always says the worst they could do is say no. Just ask, and you'd be amazed what people do for you. And like the mayor had said, we're doing the Memorial Day Parade, and thank you, Maine. She wouldn't let it go, and so we're having a Memorial Day Parade. Really, thanks to Maine. And the fever pitch on June 4th with the rec. The rec has asked for assistance from public events and getting stuff there and doing whatever we can, and we will. And then the carnival is on the 15th and the 18th of June. And also with the Access for All, with them, that, the vendor, again, just, you know, worst thing they could do is say no. We asked and they said, yeah, we'll open an hour, and no charge. It didn't cost the town anything. The carnival vendor said, hey, sure, we could do that, no problem. Really, thank you to the carnival people, and that's it. Happy Easter and happy Passover.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Thank you, Mayor. Water and sewer updates. Decommissioning of the 3 sanitary sewer treatment plants. The contractor is forwarding construction submittals to Boswell for comments and approval and is developing a construction schedule. Local material storage yard is being established. The force main on Ramapo Valley Road is earmarked to be constructed first to facilitate the county's resurfacing of the road. Skyview High Brook sanitary sewer lining, yard restoration work is all that remains to be completed and should be done by the end of this month. The Iroquois pump station upgrades, the contractor is submitting documents for review and acceptance by Boswell. Materials are being ordered and will take several months for delivery. Some work at the site may begin toward the end of this month. The PFAS compounds treatment at 3 water production wells. Boswell is scheduled to submit the permit application documents to the NJDEP within the next few days. Let's look for that. Let's see. The fire hydrant flushing on Monday, April 18th, and continuing until further notice. Water department employees will begin flushing, inspecting, and pressure testing all fire hydrants throughout our water distribution system. Annual fire hydrant flushings are required under the NJDEP guidelines and should in no way affect drinking water quality or cause a disruption in service. Residents with questions regarding the flushing and testing are asked to call the Public Works Service Building at 201-337-8103. My library update on Sunday, April 3rd, the library held their wonderful Ramapo Valley Chamber Ensemble concert. 85 people attended, and they were very happy to be getting back to normal and planning future events like this. Also been asked to mention the Library of Things being active, also to mention the Museum Pass program, which includes passes to the Intrepid, the Guggenheim, the Museum of Natural History, the Morris Museum, the Brooklyn Botanical Garden, the Yogi Berra Museum, Storm King Art Center, and the Museum of the Moving Image. Check out the calendar online for upcoming events. And if you haven't done already, ask to be added to their mailing list. Happy Easter and happy Passover.
Thank you.
That's it.
I'll try to make this short and sweet. So from DPW, some important dates. One, it's tomorrow, sorry for letting us here, metal disposal. So if you want to get rid of any metal, please head out tomorrow. Everything needs to be placed by the curb and gasoline removed. Obviously, if you have refrigerators and freezers, please remove the doors. So that's for tomorrow. Electronics collection is on April 20th. Residents who need electronics collected must call the Department of Public Works at 201-337-8103 before 4 p.m. on April 23rd. That didn't make sense.
Does it?
No, it says collection day the 20th. You have to call it the Wednesday before. It's not the 23rd. You have to call it on the 19th to get your electronics collected. And then we have the shredding day, which is on May 14th, as the mayor opened up her meeting. DPW cleared 70, filled 70 potholes in the last 2 weeks, which is, I think, very, very nice to hear, the good work they're doing. And from the Shade Tree Commission, Ed, I want to thank you again for coming tonight and rehashing what you've done for that ordinance. So I'm glad everything went through. From a shade tree perspective, we have an Arbor Day event that's being held at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center. And we'll be giving out saplings, so everyone please join.
April 28th.
April 20th, yes, Arbor Day.
April what?
April 28th. Or 20th.
It's the day after the next council meeting.
Yes. And then on the Bush Plaza Committee, So they're presenting on the 27th the Parkway Bush Plaza. I have to say, they were probably ready tonight. We could have gone tonight. I think everything's done. I've seen a copy of the presentation. We were probably done last week, to be honest, or 2 weeks ago. I have to say, I've never seen a committee that I've worked with, and I've been on some other committees, who got together in a short fashion and it pushed this through. So I'm really looking forward to next week, and I think everyone's going to
Thank you.
be pleasantly surprised and impressed with what they see. That's it.
Mayor, just
Oh,
one thing.
Excuse me, everyone, happy Easter and those who have Passover, happy Passover.
On the cleanup, April 30th, if your parents, if your students need community service hours, this is a perfect time for them to get their community service hours. April 30th from 9 to 12, meet at the Danny Delia building.
And just a quick question, are we allowed to start a meeting earlier?
As long as you announce it and publish
We
it.
should discuss this, during,
What
is everybody available a little bit earlier?
For every meeting?
No, the next meeting is going to be very, very, very busy.
Mayor, maybe we can wait till Monday till we have the draft agenda and we'll circulate it around.
Okay, and
we
see
can
what
kinda
everybody
take a-
says,
take
and
a
look at
straw
your
poll.
calendar, look at your work schedule.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I can adjust my,
You can,
Mayor, Eric usually does this, I forgot because he's not here, but Patriots Way Bridge, I'll do that real quick. The bridge remains safe for vehicular and pedestrian traffic. The next follow-up detailed inspection is June 2022. The current estimated cost to replace the superstructure due to construction inflation is 10%. So that's from 5.66 million to 6.22 million because of inflation.
but it has to be done.
Detailed estimate is being worked on by Boswell, and the borough, as we know, is applying for the funding.
All right, at this point, motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My comments almost seem rhetorical at this point, since 122 has been passed. However, during the discussion on the voting of that particular resolution, there seems to be two driving forces. One, application to tomorrow. My God, what if we missed the application date? And the second was, if we don't apply, we will be punished in some way, in effect, by perhaps not being eligible for future grants, or we're angered them, or something like that. Which leads to a semi-rhetorical question. The source of the grant, is that the only source in America for money to do this? Or is it just this organization in Trenton we're dealing with? That's their grant process.
Are you talking about the whole country of the United States?
Yes, I am.
I don't know. I'm
I
going
do.
to be honest with you. I don't know.
I do know. There are hundreds and hundreds of grants out there that go begging. And we have put
from which
all,
organization?
excuse me?
Which organization?
Yeah, just go on, just Google it.
Oh, you don't know, okay.
I have given Michael, when I was involved with Station Park in that disaster, all the eggs were put into the basket of the DOT. And I said to myself at the time, it's not a DOT project. It just isn't. Regardless, DOT. But I did do an awful lot of research on the internet with regard to pocket parks, funding, grants, so on and so forth. There were hundreds, literally. Michael, you have a list. Okay? I gave him the list for futures for the Bush Plaza Park. And this is, it's very salient that we have not explored anything beyond what's in front of our noses. This is why I call for a committee, to do this amongst many other things. But it's rhetorical at this point. Because
But you heard Councilman
tomorrow,
Saliani say he's about talking about getting a committee. And there's a member of the Historical Society coming up to speak next.
no, I appreciate that. But the point remains, okay? We have not looked beyond our noses. Shame on us and shame on everyone for not doing it, not looking beyond what is available, not looking at this creatively, not assessing every opportunity, going down roads that we haven't gone down before. That's all I have to say.
I didn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, next.
Say everybody.
I'm just looking at the clock, that's why.
Hi, Jerry Engermuller, 24 Lakeview Terrace, and I wanted to let people know, since we're back inside the Van Allen house now, that we've been actively in there taking the artifacts and whatnot and redistributing them for display purposes, and we would love to have some help. Anybody out there who would like to get involved in that, and getting the house ready for, I don't know, if open houses, but something anyway, they can go oaklandhistoricalsociety.org. And they can contact us and let us know if they'd like to help us with that. We'd love to hear from them. We're a very hands-on group and enjoy this. And there are other things, in your point, I know the Brotherton Foundation did offer some money at one point. There are other...
We did get money from the Brotherton.
I'm sorry?
We did get money from Brotherton.
Yeah,
a while back.
that's one example. So there are other organizations out there that could be contacted. So that's pretty
Thank you.
much what I wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Philomena Borgia, 54 Saratoga. All due respect, I didn't understand your answer. I wasn't asking to opine on what you think the 3.6% preliminary budget was that they were moving forward. I was here a few meetings ago, and Mr. Richard over there said that you guys were allocating 2%, which was the cap. So that's no longer what's allocated because the reality is over the cap. So I was just wondering logistically what changes in the conversation.
I misunderstood you. I thought you were talking about you wanted us to comment on this, on the regional school board.
No, I wanted to
Oh,
see how
I
that
misunderstood you.
affects
Sorry.
your budget.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I wrote
It's,
down school
listen,
board,
it's
regional
probably,
school board.
it's my fault, I'm sure. I was just wondering the effects of that kind of increase, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
And we could wait until next time, it's okay, I understand.
Listen, we'll add it on to April
It's
27th.
getting late, I get it.
Anyone else? If not, motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid, Councilman?
Bills to be paid, $1,068,767.22. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? As long as everybody's read the bills list, you can vote. Voting.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Saliani.
Yes.
Councilman Slisinski.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting will be right here, April 27th. If we are going to start a little bit earlier, we will advertise it repeatedly. And I thank everybody for coming. I wish everybody a very happy Easter and a very sweet Passover.
Have a good Passover, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.